and welcome, guys. This is the D&D Rewind. I'm Anna Prosser. This is Mark Humes.
Humes, oh, you nailed
I
it
got
again.
it.
I'm so happy. I'm so pleased.
And we're joined by Jim Zub. Welcome, Jim.
Jim Zub, a new fresh-looking Jim Zub.
That's right,
from
aerodynamic
yesterday.
Jim
Yeah, I
Zub.
love it.
How does
I love
it feel?
It's
running
a
your
little
hand
weird.
over?
It's kind of neat. Like it's got a texture now.
You're still getting used to it. Like you go to the
yeah.
shower and
little
it's like,
cold chills across my dome this morning.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll come back to Jim's haircut, I
Yeah.
think, like, because we'll talk about that connected to the games.
Absolutely, yeah. We are here in case you're just tuning in and you have no idea what you're watching. This is D&D Live. This is a yearly event where we come together and we stream Dungeons & Dragons and we play Dungeons & Dragons and we learn about new amazing things that are coming out.
D&D
for
summer
Dungeons &
camp,
Dragons.
as a lot of people call it. Once a year, just everybody getting to hang out and play games and have fun. Been a great experience.
It's a big warm hug.
Yeah, big warm hug.
Yeah.
To you, it's like day 400 or something,
Yeah,
right?
this is day 86 in the infernal realms. No, it's been the best, honestly. I was saying this last night, and it sounds all gushy and ridiculous, but I've probably been to over 200 conventions, maybe 250 conventions. This has been one of the best events I've ever been to.
For sure.
The people are wonderful, the staff, the volunteers, everyone's working their butt off, but what you feel is this incredible community, and everyone's here to play games, feel empowered and excited, and it's electric everywhere you go.
Yeah. And Jim, I got to talk to you at the very beginning of the event because you had worked on so many
When
of
I
the
still
products.
had hair.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was a whole
Oh my
different
gosh,
you back
I
then.
know.
You've been through so much. But we are going to talk about a lot of the products that we got to see announced and a lot of the new things that are coming out. But before we do, I wanted to introduce you to people who might not know you. What do you
Sure.
do? And
So, by trade, I guess, I'm a comic book writer, and as soon as I say that, I get permagrin, because it's like, that's a real job.
That's my thing.
Somebody writes comic
I
books.
do that.
Yeah. So I write a lot of stuff for Marvel and Image and IDW, DC, all kinds of different companies, but here, I write the official Dungeons & Dragons comic. I've been writing it since 5th edition launched. We've done 4 miniseries so far, Legends of Baldur's Gate, Shadows of the Vampire, Frost Giant's Fury, and Evil at Baldur's Gate. And we just announced this weekend Infernal Tide, which is going to be our 5th miniseries.
Very cool.
I also have had the wonderful experience of co-writing Rick and Morty versus Dungeons & Dragons, which is this absolutely bizarre and insane crossover that has been gloriously embraced by the community. And we announced a sequel to that as well this weekend. So that's my job. That's what I do. I write comics and get to play games, and somehow we call this work.
what is your role-playing games or D&D origin story?
This is actually, I started playing Dungeons & Dragons when I was 8 years old.
Oh, yeah?
And I know that specifically because my older brother was my dungeon master, and he very pointedly told me on the old red box set, it says for ages 10 and up. And he's like, you shouldn't even be playing this. This is above you, you know. But because he had a new game, my parents forced him, you must play with your younger brother. And it genuinely became the bridge for us to be closer to each other. It became something we had in common, and a way for me to finally have something to prove myself in terms of having a voice and, you know, building a brotherly bond. I know it sounds really dramatic, but it did. And it also ignited a desire to entertain and tell stories that has never gone away. And so getting now to work on Dungeons & Dragons and be even a small part of this thing, this incredible thing that's been going on since 5th edition launched, has been just the most wonderful thing. I cannot properly express to you how much it means to me to be able to be a part of it. And then to be here and to feel the love, like people have been awesome. They've been bringing up the books, they've been telling me exciting stories about their characters or about the stories I've written. Being up on that stage last night, which I'm sure we'll talk about, it's the best.
Yeah. I think we both know that. You're preaching to the choir.
I know, right?
Because it's all the same thing.
Did you know D&D is pretty cool?
It's pretty cool.
It's having a moment, but it seems to never end, and that's kind of the best thing of all.
It's interesting because Mark and I were just talking about war stories, like how this is the greatest place because when I'm like, yo, this one time there was this displacer beast, and you know, and you can
Everybody gets it.
Yeah, and everyone actually genuinely wants to hear those
totally.
character stories, so that's been really fun being surrounded by those kind of people.
It's glorious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we are going to talk more about our experience here, but we'll do that a little bit later. We want to make sure that we talk about all of the things that are coming for D&D to refresh your memory if you saw before, and also get Jim's perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
And then after that, we're going to talk about kind of everything that's been happening here, the live games. We'll talk about what we saw last night, and then we will throw you over to this this rock concert that's happening. So.
Yeah,
awesome.
and obviously the big thing to talk about is the main thing that's kind of kicked everything off, which is the announcement of Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus, brand new adventure, written by Adam Lee with Chris Perkins, Kate Welch, and Ari Levitch. I love the fact that this is the tagline is Dante's Inferno meets Mad Max Fury Road, because what an image that kind of creates and conjures.
Absolutely.
And Baldur's Gate, I mean, so you've written tons of Baldur's
Well,
Gate.
not only that, I actually on Descent into Avernus, I was brought in for what's called the story push.
Oh, wow.
So what'll happen is Wizards of the Coast will try and bring in outside authors just to mix things up so that it
Okay.
doesn't get too insular. So Adam Lee contacted me. We're talking middle of 2017.
Wow.
And said, we're developing a new thing. Would you be interested?
Yeah.
Would you be interested in coming into the office to play some games with us?
Yes.
And when? And so we booked it. I came in. We did about 4 days in the office, and it was like camp there too. We sat in the boardroom and we brainstormed a bunch of crazy ideas, and a lot of that stuff has worked its way into the final product.
Amazing.
I'm so proud of, and some of the crazy stuff we came up with around infernal contracts or the war machines.
Yeah.
I have to brag about this. I came up with the idea for the Soul Coin, which has been now this crazy thing all weekend. We've been seeing it coming up again and again.
It's one of my favorite little mechanics
Yeah.
in the thing. The idea of holding this coin and this corrupting influence.
The
and
moral weight.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
idea of it, and I
It's
can't
really
wait for
fun.
my players to start, picking them up and experiencing that in the
Right.
first thing.
And then Max Dunbar, who's drawing the Infernal Tide comic, he came in for the art push. So he did a bunch of concept
Amazing.
art, because we've been doing Adventures in Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
since 2014.
Yeah.
So it just feels right. It was
Yeah.
just like a real cool full circle thing.
That's so cool.
I wanted to, because I got the pleasure of seeing you hold one of those for the first time, because we have the little soul coins, not even little,
No.
the
No,
they're like
large
that.
soul
They're
coins.
chunk.
They're
here.
weighty.
Yeah, and you were explaining how if you are a good character,
Yeah.
that there's a certain, like, not only physical, but a metaphorical weight
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about
Well,
that?
any mortal will feel something creepy and off, because this is not normal metal. It's a soul crushed into infernal metal.
No.
And it can feel cold, or it can feel strange. It can shimmer and shake. Some of them hiss or scream. And if you're a good character, regardless of whether or not the person was evil, you are holding someone's life in your hands, quite literally and metaphysically. And you can't have more than one or two, because it's pulling you down. You're carrying too much.
Yeah.
This is not meant to be a handheld item. This is meant to be loose and out into the universe, and it's been imprisoned and contained. Or in the case of Avernus, it's being chunked into machines and used as fuel, or used as a bargaining chip, sometimes even used as ammunition. Like, they're creepy and awful and weird. And that was something really exciting for us. And so when we came up with this concept, and when I kind of was talking to Adam about it, he literally said, wouldn't it be cool if we actually made those at some point? And here we are, like a year and a half later, and someone hands me the Soul Coin, and I'm looking at this thing and I go, this is the coolest job.
I think I saw a glimpse of that 8-year-old,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
10 and under,
You
and
can
being
see
like,
it,
haha!
talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's so great, right?
Speaking of not being able to be contained,
Oh.
Yeah, somebody
the
was trying to distract. Oh, we got
uncontainable- we have
Oh,
soul
oh,
coins.
oh.
Well, that too. That wasn't exactly where my segue was going, but it was good.
You
We
carry
have
on with the
Kate
segue.
Welch.
Okay.
Kate Welch, come join us.
I like the distracting, sexy dance off camera. No,
I was meant for the
definitely
combat role
Here's
over
your
the
mic.
top.
Clip it on your shirt
Oh.
there somewhere.
Not. Oh,
So here's what I recommend you do. If you get your own Soul Coin,
this is mine now, by the way. I
Yeah.
haven't got one of these yet, so I'm keeping this.
put it in the freezer before your game session.
Ooh, that's a
And
good
then when you pull it
idea.
out, just hand it to your players.
God.
And they'll be just like totally creeped out.
Truly diabolical.
That's
so
great.
good.
I'm all
I
about
love
that drama.
They've
Yeah.
also got a good spin if you.
Hey.
You almost want it to have that one ring as it
Oh.
hits the ground and just
That
wham.
thunk.
Yeah, that
Yes.
thunk.
Yes.
It's got good heft.
These
Yeah.
are really good soul coin tips. I would never have
Soul
thought of
coin
either
tips.
of those. But I feel like as a DM, just like slyly kind of, I
yeah,
can't do
do
it.
it.
but,
Hey,
you
welcome
know,
to
slyly spinning.
D&D Rewind. We got top 10 soul coin
Yeah.
tips coming at you right now. Top 10 tips.
Ever
Soul
wondered
coins.
what to do with your soul coin? Now you know.
It's like flipping a water bottle, trying to land it.
Hey, you have
They
to marry your
always
mother-in-law.
come up heads.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you mentioned the Rick and Morty thing.
Yeah.
And what a great segue to Kate Welch.
Yeah, and before we do,
Yeah.
in case people don't know Kate Welch,
Oh
who's
yeah.
Kate Welch?
I am a game designer on Dungeons and Dragons, and I play Rosie Beestinger on Acquisitions Incorporated, the C Team.
Beasting.
Yep, that Beesting life. What's up?
Should we
Dude,
talk
I
about-
have a gang sign for Lulth.
What?
Okay.
You know
Lulth
this?
has a gang sign?
Well, I made it up.
Well, it's
this.
canon.
I've
Because you
made
work
it
for
up, but
Wizards.
that means it's canon now.
Oh, that makes
Gang
sense.
sign for Lolth. I
I
like
like
it.
Lulth forever. Drow life.
Lolth for life.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing I sit and think about.
If you
This
need
is
like
your
an L
job.
for Lulth, so you could add like, you know, I don't know.
We can workshop it. I
Well-
liked the spider legs.
spider
all,
legs.
all 8 of those
Very
spider
good.
legs.
Really
Very
good.
classic.
Very good.
All right, so Kate is a game designer for Dungeons & Dragons. We were just talking about Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Before we move on to talking about all the other
Oh,
things,
yes.
is there anything you personally have experienced this week since I talked to you last about Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus that has been particularly cool, or anything you want to say to the people at home about it?
So about Descent into Avernus, yes, you and I spoke about it. I'm sorry, my hands are freezing.
They are
on the
quite
opening
cold.
ceremonies. There have been, now that some of the warlords have been played in the game, I'm excited that those have been revealed, those personalities. One of my favorite things about those warlords is in the book, there actually isn't much description of them. And there are a bunch more that we didn't play at the games this weekend. So what I liked about that for my sake, selfishly, was like, okay, so I'm going to extrapolate a personality and a set of values from this warlord. Obviously, they're in hell. They're not nice.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Marisha was playing a warlord named Smiler the Defiler. And her take on that character was entirely hers.
Yeah.
All we told her was like, this is a guy, he runs alone, he rides a motorcycle, he's an elf, his name is Smiler the Defiler, have fun. And she took it to a level, man. She was so frightening.
Yeah, that sounds like Ray.
I was like, I had goosebumps on top of goosebumps last night. So anyway, getting to know your warlords and developing your personalities for how you interact with them in Avernus is going to be a really good time. And of course, now that I think people have seen more stuff on Zariel, the chapter in the book that's on Zariel was something that I shepherded. It's a short chapter, but it's something that I'm super proud of. And I can't wait for folks to experience it.
That is my jam. Can't wait. I want all the Zariel info. All
I
of
love
it.
I love villains.
Yeah.
I love villains.
Who doesn't?
I've said this on a bunch of these streams already, but I love villains, especially like in Avengers or Black Panther. Thanos and Killmonger are both villains who's you're like, well, you are a murderer, and you know your ends perhaps are not justified, but your motivation sure is understandable, right? And so when I am writing a villain now, I'm like, my favorite kind of villain is one where if you trace it back far enough, you're like, oh shit, I might have made the exact same choice
Right.
in that situation, because those values are values that I share.
Right.
So that's been something that has been so fun to work on
And
with
I
Ariel.
think the idea, particularly in Hell with lawful evil, that idea of a character that is weirdly justified or operating on their own set of rules,
Yes, but there
that
are
you can
rules.
understand,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
even if you disagree morally, or even if you, the manipulative aspect of it instead of just pure destruction.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Lawful evil, best
she's-
evil.
Yes, I agree. And
Yeah.
it's like to have. I've often thought of the Seven Hells as being like filled with lawyers. Like Asmodeus is like king lawyer, and so if
Nice.
lawyers are in hell. And in hell, a lawyer would be, a pretty evil dude
Yeah.
who's trying to try to get your soul all the time. But with Zariel, it didn't start that way, right?
Yeah.
So.
Lawyers and Chris Perkins. Yeah.
We are going to talk a ton about Chris
Those
Perkins
games.
and those
So it's like
games.
on your agenda.
It is.
Like a whole
Yeah,
thing about
yeah,
Chris Perkins.
yeah.
We're still in the talking about the D&D products section of the day, but I can't wait to get into the talking about the stream section of the
Oh,
day.
good.
But actually, I do want to talk about the D&D Essentials Kit.
Yes.
Because that's actually one of my favorite announcements that happened.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, because I actually played the starter set not too long ago as my first time DMing a 5e campaign.
How'd it go?
What?
And that was like a year and a half ago or something. It went great.
Yay.
I think one of the things I learned was that because I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for so long, but I had this fear of like I have to do everything exactly by the book if I'm playing a written
A
adventure.
lot of people have that.
Yeah.
fear
Of
course,
early on.
yeah.
And I think what I learned from that is you don't have to do that.
Right,
And so
right.
the Essentials Kit I'm really excited about because you can see here on the screen, there's so many other elements that allow you to be a little bit more creative
Yes.
in terms of you can, it encourages you to create your own character instead of using pre-made ones. There's a lot of maps and things and cards you can use as a DM.
Yeah.
And all of the quests and adventures that you get could be used as an expansion to Lost Mines of Phandelver, which
Yes.
is in the starter set, or you can kind of use them piecemeal, or you can do them one at a time.
Yeah.
And so for me, what that makes me think about doing is picking one of these quests and using it as the jumping off point for
Right.
something I would create from there.
Yeah. The 13 scenarios that Chris wrote, I like, especially as somebody who often gets to do one shots. The idea of one of these scenarios you can play in an evening, and then that's it. You're done. Like it's
Yeah.
it's not something you have to keep track of like where were we in the adventure and who did they speak to? I got to go back and check this guy. You do the scenario, you're done. That's the evening. The next time you move on to the next one.
Right.
That's a great tool for new DMs.
Yeah,
I
a
think
great way to
especially.
teach people the game as well. Because
Yeah.
rather than dropping them in the deep end and saying, let's do a campaign, you
Yeah.
can say, I'm going to show you the ropes. Here's D&D, pre-gen character, one night, one scenario, finish it up, and you're like, hey, so
Your first,
You've had your-
first hit
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yep. Big time.
Yep, I love that. And I mean, it's so hard to find a weekly time when lots of people can
Of
get
course.
together right now. So being able to do that kind of one
big
shot
hurdle.
is
Super
really-
nice.
really
Big
good.
hurdle.
We also saw the Descent into Avernus Dice and Miscellany.
Oh my God.
How do you say that word?
Miscellany.
Miscellany.
Yeah.
I should have trusted my gut.
Yeah. Do we
like
have
a
a
lane
product
of
shot for that?
missiles.
I don't
Or
think we
not?
maybe do,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it
Can I
looks
tell you
so-
about it?
Tell us. Do
Dude,
it.
have you seen Jim? Have you seen it yet?
No.
Okay.
What is
all
it?
right. So our in-house graphic designer Emmy Tanji, who is responsible for almost all of the like beautiful parts of our book layouts. She and Trish Yoakum are our graphic designers. They do such a good job. But Emmy, for the Dice and Miscellany box, she crafted this incredible like holographic treatment all over the top. The whole thing is covered with infernal script that's, like, of course, is translatable through the codex that's in the book, but also the dice inside. Not only are the dice beautiful, but both halves of the box that they come in are lined with velvet. Yeah, dice rolling boxes.
Yeah,
amazing.
and they
Why
feel
haven't
real
we done
good. I
that before?
tested one.
They feel so
They
nice.
feel real good, yeah.
Speaking of the Infernal script, the bottles of water here
Yeah.
in the
I know.
thing have got Infernal script on them.
It's +1 bottle of something.
Something
Something like that.
Yeah,
terrifying,
yeah. I
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
translated it yet, but I'm a little afraid.
I believe it's hydration.
Hydration.
I believe that's what it is.
you,
Obviously
you would be
fluent in
able to read
Infernal.
Infernal.
That's good, right?
It's by feel, you know. Like I actually can just see it and I feel what it means.
Well, it's, like as a paladin, it's like, know thine enemy kind of
Exactly,
vibe, right? Like, you
exactly.
understand the enemy to defeat the enemy.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm waiting for my celestial cipher. That's what I'm waiting for.
All right.
so-
Hey, yeah.
And,
Good on you,
actually, I did want to confirm. I saw some people out in the D&D world being like, "But is there a cipher?" There is in the
Oh,
book
God,
as
yes.
well as in the dice set. There's
Yes.
a
Oh,
miniature
yes.
cipher.
Yes, there is, yeah.
So if you
Awesome.
want to translate what's on there, you can just
Great.
grab the set.
And the dice set, it's got like maps and like loads of other stuff
Yeah,
in it as well.
it's
right?
a monster.
Yeah.
It's
Lovely.
A bunch of monster cards in
Yeah.
it, which I think are really useful
That's
and fun.
great.
When's
yeah.
it coming
yeah.
out?
It's available at the same time as the essential set, I believe.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
not
that's,
sure.
I think that's what
Yeah.
Liz said.
The essential set is, it's June 24th, which is in the Target stores, and then it
Yeah.
comes
Oh,
out
that's-
2 weeks later.
Right.
It's way faster than I thought.
Yeah, we don't
Oh.
have Target, so
Right.
I care about the 2 weeks later.
Oh, I'm sorry you don't have Target.
I know,
Yeah.
what a shame.
It
What,
is.
what am I missing out on?
You have no idea. Oh my God.
Now, we have both of you here, and so I've just been waiting to talk about the Rick and Morty D&D set. Talk about these other boxes. Tell us about the Rick and Morty D&D set.
So Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty, which is,
You got it right.
if you've been following along all weekend, that's the first time I got the order correct on the gaming product.
Rick and Dungeons versus
Morty,
Dragons and Morty.
Dragons, yeah. I've been saying Rick and Morty versus D&D for over a year now,
Right.
and it's embedded in my brain.
Right.
Kate is the lead developer on this incredibly ridiculous, this crossover shouldn't exist,
Yeah.
and now this gaming product shouldn't exist,
Right.
so here we are.
Right.
And Kate, either wisely or insanely, brought me in to work on this gaming adventure and commentary for the rules. Rick Sanchez has his own particular way of playing D&D.
He does.
Of course.
And it oscillates between horrifying and amazing, punishing and it's Perkins and whatever a non-evil version of D&D is out there. It's been a trip, and Kate has been a glorious guiding hand. How would you describe it?
Well, there was that evening on that Sunday that you called me in the blind panic.
We're going to talk about that?
I would love
This
to
is the
talk
time
about
to talk about it.
that.
This
Do
is
it.
the time.
We're doing it
No,
live.
it was wonderful. You have been this wonderful writer and partner in the sense that like you care so very, very much
I
that
do.
like it damages your psyche. And
does.
so that's been really wonderful. I actually I just was in the signing line for the D&D team. Some folks came through who have been playtesting our
Oh,
adventure.
that's amazing.
And they like leaned in
Yeah.
like it was a secret society. They were like,
Right.
we're playtesting, you know what? I was like, really? And one of them like brings out a picture of Morty. I was like, okay, so tell me. And they are in love with it.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes, they were like, the DM had said he'd been running the adventure for a couple of people, a couple of different groups, and that they keep finding themselves like utterly in stitches. When they find out what a particular thing is supposed to be a reference to, they're like, oh my God, this
Oh,
is
good.
amazing. Like they're having so much fun with it.
So the thing was, I don't mind, because Rick and Morty as a property, they tend to drill into, tropes, and they'll reverse your expectations. They'll mess with your mind. They'll have weird, tender moments set against edgelord humor and violence and all this stuff. And I'm trying to figure out how to put that into an adventure. And then on top of that, most adventure, text is facing towards the dungeon master. So how do you outward face those qualities while actually making it a playable adventure,
Yes.
while also turning some of those tropes on their head?
Yes.
And every time I think I had a handle on it, I would start to break. I'd be like, but it also, this could be some people's first experience playing D&D, and we need to drop them in the deep end, and we need to mess with their expectations, but they have no expectations.
Right.
That's a
And
lot.
I called you on a Sunday evening and said, I think I've made a horrible mistake. I can't do this. I'm losing my mind. And you were the most patient, kind soul. I don't know if internally you were like, I hate you right now so much.
No,
as
I would
just,
have
like,
said that out loud.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's true.
I
You
was
would.
just like losing it. I was like, this thing needs to be everything to everyone.
It's true, yeah.
And I just want to do a good job.
I know.
Yeah.
It was an interesting challenge, right?
Yeah.
Like trying to thread the needle of being funny,
Right.
but also playable.
Yes.
But also something that I personally think a bunch of people will buy this just to read it.
Sure.
So it should be funny to read, but
Yeah.
also funny to play. Like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure that not all the jokes are DM facing in the adventures, that the players actually get to experience the
Yeah.
funniness of it too. It was insane. And by the end of it, I think we had 5 total writers contributing to it.
And I was an idiot and thought we could do it with
Yeah,
one
you thought you
and a
could
half.
do. You
Yeah.
thought you could do 1.5 writers.
Yeah. Like
And
I would
that
write
was
it and then
hard.
you'd make it function.
Yeah.
I was like, this'll be great.
That sounds
Right.
like great. That sounds like a
I
great
hadn't
solution.
even thought about that, because you think about your audience when you
Yeah.
write, but your audience is so multifaceted in that
Yeah.
sense,
Oh,
and
yeah.
how to
Yeah.
get things through another person to an audience. Like,
I mean,
man,
and
I
writing
hadn't
an
thought about that.
adventure is already challenging in itself. Like,
And I had
that idea of it.
0 adventure credits under
Yep.
my belt, and I'm
Hey,
just like, I can do
same.
this.
High five.
Boom.
Nice.
But all of a sudden, it's like everything I know about storytelling is filtered through the comic lens and filtered through. At the end of the day, even when I'm writing Minsk and Boo in the comics, and it feels very chaotic, I'm still controlling where the plot goes.
Right.
D&D and adventure writing is about sandboxing elements of it, and you can see broader tendencies of storytelling, but you have to leave people to explore it.
It's true.
And that's a really unique challenge.
Yep.
And then Rick Sanchez.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Through the cheese grater of insanity that is Rick Sanchez.
Well, if it's
Yeah.
any consolation, it sounds like we did thread that needle.
I am very,
So,
very excited.
I mean, time will
Can't wait
tell,
to see
but
it.
so
Yeah.
far, all signs point to yes.
Can't wait to see it.
Really quick, because
Yeah.
I do want to get to talking about the streams, but what's the coolest thing in the box? What are the
There
things
is
in
an
the box?
unbelievably cool DM screen in there.
Ooh,
Yes.
cool.
I think that might
Sold.
be my favorite part. Yeah.
Sold.
Great.
Yeah.
It is. We had a lot of conversations about whether we had the budget to get a DM screen in there. I was like, please, 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 please.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it'd be so great. And it's a big 4-panel piece of Troy Little art, who does the Rick and Morty D&D comic, who is an unbelievable supernatural delight to work with. He's so fast. We sent him this insane 4-panel description for this DM screen, and I don't want to insult the guy who did it. I would say amateurish whiteboard sketch. But it's Adam Lee who did it, and he knows he's not an artist. He's
Back
one of
of the napkin.
He's
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
the writers that worked on this product. But it was just like it could be like this. And then Troy, I think it took him like 2 whole days, and he sent us back this utter chaos, and it was
Somehow works.
flawless.
Yeah.
It was flawless. So I think that's my favorite part.
That's the same
Amazing.
thing with the comic though. Like Pat and I would send Troy this madness on the page, this like fire hose of insanity
Yeah.
on every page, and he would just make it look elegant.
yeah.
And they were like, storytelling's so strong. And I'm like, that wasn't me. That wasn't Pat. That was Troy.
Yeah.
That joke,
Troy.
Troy sold it.
Troy.
Like, it was a good joke, but without the right visuals, without the right expressions, without the right pacing in the panels,
Totally.
it doesn't play.
Yeah, Troy's
So
amazing.
I was saying that the dice set comes out at the same time as the essential set, but is it this box that comes out at the same time as the set? When does this come out? Do you know?
We don't know yet. It's
Okay.
TBD. It's
Gotcha.
going to be out this fall. It's meant to come out sort of around the same time as the next season of the show.
Gotcha.
But we don't have an exact release date. We
Yeah.
just know fall.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
All
Very
right.
cool.
So last thing we have to talk about is Dungeon Mayhem expansion.
Yeah, Dungeon Mayhem expansion. Well, this will be of interest to you. I don't know if you've played Dungeon Mayhem, a little
I
quick card
have.
game.
I love it.
Expansion, Minsk and Boo.
Right?
Minsk and Boo being added to Dungeon Mayhem. Lots of
be
new
awesome.
character
Jahira
cards.
too.
Huh?
Jahira.
Jahira as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's good old Jahira. Everybody loved Jahira in Baldur's Gate 2, didn't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, brand new character cards. I really love Dungeon Mayhem. It's like one of those board games that I've introduced people that don't play board games to. Because
Yeah.
it's just so quick and easy to play.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so easy. Like
Yeah.
you just drop in, play a couple rounds.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
super really
fast
fun.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really clever.
So looking forward to that one. Lots more Baldur's Gate action.
I'm really excited because I have not spent a ton of time as a player in Baldur's Gate. I didn't play the video games originally. I'm just becoming familiar with them
So good.
now in life.
Well, I am too. We're on Welch's Game Juice.
Welch's Game Juice, you're playing them.
I'm playing through them for the very first
Oh,
time.
really?
Yeah, and I've played like the Dragon Age games, which are like the spiritual successors,
Sure.
right? But
How far are you in Baldur's Gate 2? Have you met Air Delise yet?
no.
Then you will get to enjoy the joy of Enter Air Delise.
Yeah.
Oh,
So good.
yeah.
The
Oh,
voice
yeah.
acting in
The
that,
voice
the
acting
voice
is
acting
the
that
is
game is
best.
brilliant.
every time. Like
So
I'm a
good.
person who usually skips like voice cutscenes
Yeah,
or whatever,
sure.
but in Baldur's Gate 2, I'm just like,
John Irenicus, man.
I know he's so good.
The child of Baal
Yes.
is awoken.
Nice,
good.
nice work, kid.
I know.
Thanks,
Anyone
pal.
want to hire Mark to do some voice
Please
acting?
do, please, yes.
Swords
Sherlock
for everyone.
_Humes on Twitter. Get in contact.
All right, now speaking of
Yeah.
Mark's acting and therefore of streams, let's talk about the live games that we saw yesterday. If you don't know, we have been having not only D&D product announcements, we've also been having this amazing experience going on, but we have been having live games on the main stage in
So
this
good.
really cool created space that is themed around Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. We had 2 games on Friday
Yeah.
and 2 games yesterday, which was Saturday. I know which day it is.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
You've got this.
I do. And we have some clips from
You
those
do have some
games.
clips
Oh, God.
because all 3 of you guys were on the main stage games.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
We
so
were.
envious.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Yes.
And Kate
They're
was
so
in that
good.
first game,
Yeah.
right?
Bonkers.
No, I was in the first game Saturday, and I DM'd the second game Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Tell
did
us-
not just DM the second game, she controlled it. She crushed
did.
it.
No, you crushed
Yes.
Jerry Holkins into
Yeah,
a pulp.
she just like, she
was fantastic.
into a soul coin, she
Yeah.
just smashed
I
it.
was just saying yesterday on this show how I love your DM style and how like there's a specific Kate Welch special DM style. that
Yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of
We'll
it.
be doing
Thank
a
you.
play-by-play analysis later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut to this.
And-
Well,
and-
that's wonderful.
And yeah, nobody can put Jerry in his places. Make the damn check, Jerry.
yeah.
It's because like Jerry's my family. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like the,
And your DM.
and he's my DM. He's also like he's my DM. He's my DM daddy, and he's like honestly my brother dad. Like we have been playing Dungeons and Dragons together for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And he is the kindest, most sincere man. He is
Agreed.
such a treasure. I
He
love
really
him to
is.
death. Yeah.
He really is.
So like. If you saw us giving each other shit on the stage, that is because we love each other very, very much.
Only families can fight that way.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Also played in Marisha's game yesterday.
Oh my God.
If people missed that, tell them a little bit about it.
Oh, okay. So Marisha is the love of my life now. I understand. I've heard that she's married to Matt
not
Mercer,
even
which
I know she's
sounds
forgotten
like
me
an
already.
obstacle for me. But Marisha, I want to be with you forever. She was an unbelievable DM. She's so clever. She set the mood beautifully. She was one of my favorite things about a dungeon master is one who's collaborating with you, right?
Yeah.
Which seems obvious, but there are plenty of DMs who are like, I have my plan, and you will stick to it. If you deviate from it, I will get you back on track. But she was just like, she was rolling with us. I felt like we were creating a visual scene together.
Yeah.
She was so good.
And that's really hard to do in a short game,
Oh,
a
yeah.
live game.
Yes.
That's
That's
doing it in a
so
campaign is
hard.
easier,
Yeah.
but when you've only got a set time limit to get things done,
Oh my
it's so
gosh.
easy to fall back on the here's what was going to
Yes.
happen.
Sure. Yeah,
And the
yeah.
fact that Marisha can just work with this crazy, insane thing and spin it into a whole new story is
so-
amazing.
That's what was great. All the live games, all the Dungeon Masters had their own style, and kind of, I think, show people you don't have to fit into one particular box. Like
Right.
you can, whether it's more theatrical or
Yeah.
more stat oriented, if you want to have a real combat heavy or really theatrical and dramatic, everything in between. You know, the banter between the characters was very different, or the banter with the DMs was very different.
Yeah.
I love that. I love seeing that, and so you do have a signature style, and that's really exciting to sort of see in people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
There's also some trademark things that happen in games, and one of them has to do with our first clip. And that was Christina Ariel. We mentioned yesterday that she was the karaoke queen.
Oh my God.
D&D Beyond Karaoke Queen.
D&D Beyonce.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, good
I got that from her.
That's
Actually,
good.
she
I like
dubbed
that.
herself D&D Beyonce.
Well,
That's fair.
that's totally
That's
fair.
fair.
She
I'm
gets
not
it.
even
She
mad.
gets it.
Yeah,
She
no
earned
bad.
it.
Well, she has a record of singing during songs, and she did not disappoint. We have this clip from yesterday. This is Christina Ariel in that Game 3.
So I'm going to place my hands on the side of his ears and say, I'll stop the swelling in your face with lesser restoration.
So good.
So good.
I've
so
had that
Katie's
stuck in my
clapping
head
already.
all day.
Yeah, I
Really?
love
Yes,
it.
I've had that stuck in my head all day. I'm like, greater restoration. Oh my God, I loved it. I couldn't believe it. She was awesome. Everybody
great.
at that table, I was just like, it's hard for me sometimes to be at a table with people that amazing because I'm just like watching the
You
game.
just want to watch the game, right?
And then I'm like, I gotta say something.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in terms of big personalities, you also had Matthew Lillard,
Yeah.
who I've had the pleasure of DMing, and is a wildcat.
Yeah, it's like
He's
trying,
unpredictable.
Yeah, it's like trying to DM for a bucking bronco.
Yeah.
It seriously is.
Fucking Bronco.
Yeah,
It's true.
And bucking bronco is very apt. I feel like,
Yeah.
especially for a little. Well, we got a clip for that later as well. But I've never seen out of everybody on that table for that game, there is one person I didn't expect Matthew Lillard to try and have PvP with, and that's Deborah Ann Wall.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he actively tried to attack sweet Twiggy in a game
I know.
is. But that's very Matthew Lillard. I feel.
So
I
good.
feel.
So good.
So I think we've got a short clip of this as well, where he tries to initiate on poor Twiggy.
I attack. Roll a dish. No, I don't. I don't. I immediately go to my knee. I go to my knee.
Also, the body language, like the flourish with
know.
the dice.
Oh,
is
he
so
goes
good.
for
Yeah.
it every time.
gotta-
Didn't he say roll a niche?
Yeah, roll a niche.
I like that.
That's a good
It's
one.
a very millennial way of demanding that somebody come
Yeah,
at you.
if Matt Lillard is anything, it's millennial.
Wow.
niche.
Wow.
Bish.
Sassy Kate Welch.
Yeah.
I love it. It's my favorite
I'd
thing.
say it to his face. Come at me, Lillard.
No, roll a niche, Lillard.
Roll a niche.
Roll a niche.
Roll a niche.
Roll a niche. All right.
good.
Speaking of Lillard and him being a bucking
Bronco.
very,
This
very,
is probably my
yeah.
favorite thing that
It's
happened.
a really
'cause
good
it's so
segue.
dumb.
Yeah.
As a host, I'm really excited about that segue. Thank you. But Matthew Lillard rolls a crit, gets really excited, and some stage hijinks takes place. Check
Oh,
it
yeah.
out.
Crit.
See you later,
There
Chef.
it goes. I'm so glad this camera got the whole
This could be really bad.
All right.
It goes right through him, huh?
What happened?
And I love the fact that Greg Tito was immediately backstage pulling that chair up,
Yeah.
ready to give him another one.
Yeah.
Like, no, you need a chair, Matt. Sit down.
We were backstage watching the stream, and we're like, and there it goes. All right.
I also loved, because I try to explain to people how much role-playing impacts your life in a positive way, and I saw him watch that chair roll off stage, and instead of being like, oh, no, I've done something wrong, he was like, this has now happened.
Yeah.
I shall stand like this, you know, like then that's
Gotta
how,
lean
it.
in.
yeah, leaning
Yeah.
in, yes-anding the
Yes,
chair.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the chair made its move, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna yes and this chair. I'm gonna improv this moment. It was
Yep.
so good. It was so beautiful.
One of the things you guys, when you're on the stage or if you're in the audience, it's obviously a huge rush, but sometimes watching the chat can be amazing. So later on, the stream cut because there was an internet problem, and on the chat, people were like, "Chair gets revenge." I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good."
Good old Twitch
Oh,
chat.
it
They
was
never
brilliant.
They
It was
never miss
brilliant.
a moment. They
I
never
loved
miss
it.
a moment. I love it.
Let's talk now about the
Well, you
last
guys
game.
had a game.
Yeah.
You guys were
Oh
players in a
boy,
game.
did we ever!
Chris
was.
Perkins.
Oh boy, did we ever!
And oh boy, was it ever Chris Perkins.
I mean,
Yeah.
and also the loss of a lovely
Yeah.
haircut
Oh, yeah.
for Jim
Every,
Zub.
every day I was here at the show, I was losing a little bit of hair. First day I had a goatee and my full head of hair. Second, and then it was the goatee was gone. And then yesterday we shaved my head
And why did you do this, Jim
because
Zub?
I was playing the legendary Ranger Minsk on stage for my first live game.
And he's committed to
I was
the
committed
bit.
to the
Committed
bit.
to the bit, yeah.
It was my birthday. It was going to be a big game. I was playing with all-star cast, and I'm like, I gotta level up, or I'm gonna get left behind. So thought I'd just go for it.
A, happy
Man,
birthday.
thanks.
But B, that happening on your birthday does probably mean that you're dead.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, I hit a
Wow.
peak, and it's all downhill
That's it.
from here.
You've also now set a precedent for
Yeah.
these live games. I
It was
feel
absolutely
you know.
insane.
Yeah.
It was one of
It
the
always-
best experiences I've
Always
had.
a good time.
like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a great
Well,
game.
and Matt Mercer played Boo.
He did.
And he was perched on your shoulder
He
quite a lot of
was.
the time.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was intimate. It was incredible.
How does he
It was
smell?
sensual.
Oh.
No, I mean what? No, yes. Oh.
Sandalwood.
Oh my God!
Masculinity.
Oh, it was glorious, glorious.
It was quite
good.
funny. I was
Yeah.
I was in the makeup room while Matt was getting ready, and I just walked in and I see him getting the whiskers kind of going
Yeah.
on. And there's just this great moment where Chris just walks past, looks in, like nods, and then properly double takes, backs up, just looks at Matt and just goes, "Amazing." I was just like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yes."
Well,
Yeah.
I have to say, we don't have the clip, but if you are interested in the Chris Perkins School of Dungeon Mastering, and you want to know how to just torture your players with love, as he does,
Start things off well.
Wow.
watch the beginning. Because
Wow.
what Chris does is he comes on stage and he's like, yeah, I helped make this game, whatever. I'm just going to fix it right now. And he had us roll a d20 with our own introduction and changed our hit point total to whatever we rolled. And then he used these soul coins and was like, I'm gonna be horrible to you guys. If you need mercy, you have one of these. And I was like, did you just give us a mechanic to beg you? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what it was. And he was horrible to us.
He was. It was like the most vicious, and the crowd was eating it up.
Yeah, they love it.
Oh.
That's why he
love it.
does it.
He spontaneously made a new rule that he called double disadvantage.
He did. He just invented double disadvantage.
Yeah.
So
saw
I
it.
had to roll 3 d20s and pick the lowest.
Yeah.
And the crowd was on pins and needles. I was on pins and needles, losing my mind. And he's just grinning from ear to ear.
So
love
I know what I
Chris.
can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sadist.
Well, we only have a few minutes, so I do want to watch these clips. I got the privilege of playing Evelyn from Dice Camera Action, who wears flying boots, which I didn't even realize till last night. No one in any canonical Evelyn history has ever worn her boots other than her. And Mika, who was playing Numeria, was like, Evelyn's dead, as I was very early on in the game. I'm just
take
going to
these.
borrow her boots for a second because
Yeah.
obviously they're great loot. And everyone was, you know, but I think we have a clip from when she was giving them back to Evelyn
Yeah.
lovingly as Evelyn was being resuscitated by Twiggy. We'll check it out.
Take off my little sandals
Okay.
and then slide the boots on.
All right.
So
And I
I
just kind
assume-
of click my heels together and I'm like,
Those fucking whiskers.
fly.
You're like waiting for attunement.
And Chris.
I had the wrong clip. That was actually when she was saying she was going to fly.
She was gonna,
Oh, right.
and Chris in his everything disappoints everyone at the table by being the rules lawyer that
Yeah.
he is.
And he says that
they
because
require
requires
attunement.
attunement.
you got it.
Yeah.
Yes, and then so the last clip, Jim, I would love you to tell about the moment because this was when Boo
Yes.
was holding his action and you had a great moment where you launched Boo
We did.
onto the, so we have the clip at the end of that when
Right.
Boo launched back into the dust. But
Right.
set up this moment for us.
So there's an aerial attacker, and I have no ranged weapon. Oh wait, I do. I have a miniature giant space hamster. So I prep him up and throw him, and then with great aplomb, I used the classic line, "Go for the eyes,"
Yes.
and the crowd went absolutely nuts.
Who wouldn't?
And this
It was
is
the
the
best.
very end after Boo has done what Boo needs to do to the face of this aerial attacker. This is how he makes his dismount, as you will.
Dismount.
This like backward swan dive, like, whoosh, off of its face into the dust.
The slow-mo.
Yep.
I love how into being a hamster Matt got. Like he went to town being that
Every
hamster.
single time, yeah, he would just like cling to my shoulder and he would just be chittering in my ear, and I'm like, this is really happening.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I know Matt, and I know that for him, it was such an honor to be Boo. Like, out of everybody to be, he was like, this is the
Yeah.
greatest character I've ever been able to play.
When we were planning these games, I remember this lineup being, and we were like, oh, we'll have Minsk in here, and I was like, I remember asking, joking, like, who would play Boo?
Yeah.
Because no one would play Boo, and then I think Matt Mercer would be the only person in the world who would love to play Boo, who cannot speak, and then luckily, of course, he was down with it, and so we were like, all right, F it,
Done.
doing it.
Amazing moments in both those games yesterday and all the other games. Don't forget, you can watch those. You can go to the videos section of the D&D channel, and all of the archives are there. I think they'll also be available on YouTube as soon as possible, as soon as they get out there. So don't miss them. So many good moments that are kind of like flirting with D&D canon,
Yeah.
you know?
Mind-bending.
Yes,
Yeah. I'm still
absolutely.
riding a high off it,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh yeah. Who
It was
wouldn't
so
be?
good.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be? And
And
also all
I'll
the.
remember it for a little while.
You
Yeah.
will, you'll have that in your memory. But also all the podcast games, all the
Yeah.
studio games that we've had here from the other studios, they'll all be available to watch as well. You can go and check those out. We've had so many games of D&D here this weekend. Make sure you go and check all of those out as well.
And like we said yesterday, we're kind of trying to be your eyes and ears here. So as we wrap up today and chat a little bit more about our favorite moments from the weekend, you can check out this video that shows a lot of the things that went on yesterday and some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes.
Yes. And yeah, so as we only have a few more minutes because we have this rock concert coming up that's going to be
Yes.
amazing. But guys, what has been your favorite moment of this weekend before we say goodbye?
While this plays.
You have to go first.
I have to go first?
Yeah.
Go now.
I had a wild Matt Mercer on my shoulder. It was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to top that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. I liked very much that we got to see a couple of things. One, Deborah Ann Wall both DMing and playing, which is something that I think none of us deserve. She's a treasure beyond reckoning. But also the game with Marisha DMing, I realized at one point during the game, this game has 4 dungeon masters in it, and they're all women.
Yep.
I was like, oh, there are 4 of the women sitting at this table right now are dungeon masters, and that is so freaking cool. So I think that might have been the high point of my moment. I was like, yep, we're outnumbering them, ladies. Take over.
Finally.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Anna?
I think getting to play Dungeons and Dragons is always my favorite. I mean, it's really hard to beat that because that's when we get to escape into our world.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking at this video, and actually there is.
Oh
there it is.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know, the mohawk look actually is kind of cool.
Not too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh
But-
my gosh.
And that fits actually with what I was
Oh,
going
and
to
then
say.
I fell. That was good stuff. Total quality.
Those chairs were rolling.
They were very
They were
rolling.
rolling.
Yeah, but I think that one of the coolest things about this weekend for me has been how we're developing this culture here at D&D Live of getting to just kind of live in our role play bliss. And
Yeah.
I've been, wearing my elf ears and rolling my dice and talking to people who want to hear my crazy stories about my characters or ideas. And so that's been really fun.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark?
For me, I think it was being able to, obviously, like last year I was here just on my own and I was doing a lot of stuff with other people, but this year I got to bring the rest of the High Rollers crew with me and introduce them to so many amazing people that I've met through coming to these events and meeting the US team like Kate and Jim and Matt and so many other people who I've met through doing this, and being able to introduce my home game and my guys to this crazy world and them getting to explore the amazing sets that we've got here and watch these amazing games. That's been really special for me, getting to share that with my team. So that's definitely been a highlight for me. So
The really special thing about this is how welcoming all of our extended family is, because even High Rollers kind of adopted me a couple times.
absolutely.
I was like their
Yay!
exchange student during their signing.
we'll adopt anybody.
Yeah,
We
it
love
was
everyone here.
Fantastic. But yeah, it's been a real pleasure to celebrate this
Yeah.
hobby that we all love in an environment where we can all encourage each other and all of that. So
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons is about spending time with the people you like and meeting new people
Yeah.
who are passionate about making stories together
Yeah, for
and
sure.
great memories. Like that's what I'm leaving this with, is just a phenomenal amount of memories and very, very special. Like people that I've been working with online, like Kate or everyone else, and we send emails or frantic phone calls. Now in person. Now
Yeah.
we're hanging out,
Yep.
and now we're doing this thing and celebrating it.
It's very cool.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And it is incredibly rewarding to see, because the D&D team in the office, there's like 25 of us, right?
Yeah.
And we're working in a corporate office, fluorescent lights, cubicles, laptops. Like it feels very, it can feel very isolated, very separate from the fans.
Yeah.
And so being able to come here and see people so happy to just like immerse themselves in Dungeons and Dragons for a weekend, man, that energy will carry you for at least the next year.
Yeah.
Till we
Yeah.
do this
Vibe.
BS again.
Feeling that vibe.
Yeah.
Feeling that vibe.
I couldn't think of a better way for us to say goodbye from D&D Rewind, because that's exactly
Yeah.
what we all want to pass on to you if you didn't get the chance to be here. Thanks for tuning in and hanging
Yeah.
out with us on the stream. We'll
Thank you so
definitely see you
much.
online.
Don't forget, so this stream is going to go down. There's going to be a little bit of a break, and then at 5 o'clock in 5 minutes, we're going to have the main concert over in the main stage. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you don't go away. The stream's we're going to close down for a second while things get spun around, and then we're going to have an amazing music concert over to see out D&D Live 2019. Thank you guys. Thank Jim and Kate. Thank you guys for joining us for this last little bit with me, myself, and Anna for D&D Rewind. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being a part of this D&D community. We'll hopefully see you next time.
Yeah, until then, roll a niche. See ya.
Rolling
Adorable.